As promised, we're going to show you guys how to transition your dogs from kibble to raw in just several days. There are some things I'm going to recommend for you right off the bat if you've never fed your dog raw, and that's going to be probiotics. And all probiotics are is nothing more than the right germs in the gut in order to help the body break down food. We're going to be using this right here. They're called greenies. They come in a little box just like this. Okay, and you could order them online, give it to your dogs before you make the transition, and even during and even after. I know you've heard me talk in the past about sour cream and also sauerkraut. What we've done is we've actually poured the greenies into the sour cream and we mixed it in there. We allowed 24 hours to pass before we do. That's so that bacteria could actually spread all over the sour cream. Even though I'm only going to be doing it one day before we begin the transition, if your dog has never eaten raw, I do recommend you do this for 2 or 3 days before you get started. You're probably wondering, how do you prepare for this? It's actually simple. Get yourself a pail, a bucket, anything, right? A little container, pour the kibble, pour the sour cream, mix it in there, and then just go ahead and put it in their food tray. We're gonna do that right now. All right, so we pretty much got started. Really, guys, this is one of them things I just play by ear. Right now, we have 3 spoonfuls in there. A lot of you are gonna be asking, well, how many spoonfuls should I put? As many as you need. That's my response. Here's where knowing your dog comes into play, whether your dog is lactose intolerant or not, or if they like the sour cream or not. So we're gonna go ahead and pour a little more in there. So basically what we have is the kibble, along with the sour cream and the probiotic. We let the probiotic sit for 24 hours. Now we're mixing it, and we're gonna go ahead and give it to these guys. These guys just hogged it up. This is Tatanka. He's put on a lot of weight eating kibble. Also has this girl, his half-sister. This is Spunky. Welcome to our morning routine. All right, guys, today we're actually going to be feeding kibble, and in addition to kibble, we're going to start feeding raw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce kibble feed by 20%, and we're going to cover that 20% with raw. We feed in the mornings and the afternoons. Also, all the dogs you see here have already eaten raw. Therefore, their transition can be a lot quicker. If you have a dog that has never eaten raw, I suggest you do it 10% at a time rather than 20% like us. Move back. Go. Go, Ali. So right now, the stage that they're in right now, eating raw, if you're feeding your dog raw for the first time, basically this stage right here is where your dog starts learning how to break bone with their teeth. Make sure your dog is at least 4.5 months in and has the second set of teeth already come in. If they got their baby teeth, this is not the way to go. You want to grind the chicken before you give it to them. This boy has really put on weight. He has really put on some serious weight ever since we got him on kibble. Now, if you notice, Blueberry and Pinky over there, they're too small for me to give them whole chicken. So we're either going to have to grind it, or they're just simply not going to be on whole chicken, right? So we're just going to feed them kibble. Oreo already tearing it up. Yeah, tearing up the chicken. Sunshine already ate all her food, and we got Stitch eating over there. Go! All right, so they're just eating kibble. Again, they just don't have the bone to be able to, they don't have the teeth to be able to break the bone, right? So we're just gonna have to grind it for them in the afternoon. Go, Cadabra! Good girl. Move back, Aruba. Go, Aruba. So Aruba, we're trying to cut a little bit of her calories. She's put on a lot of weight. Guys, make sure whenever you're feeding chicken with bone that you supervise your dogs. So they, you know, it is a choking hazard, even though I've never seen a dog choke on it. The possibility does exist. So make sure you stay on them. This is pretty much the completion of the second part. Now on the third part, which is going to be this afternoon, I'm actually going to be feeding them something I haven't fed them up to now. So we're gonna start our afternoon feeding. You've already seen everything that we're gonna be adding that we haven't added before. Now, for those of you that are feeding raw for the first time, if you wanna take your time and continue reducing the kibble by 10% and adding raw before you go ahead and jump into this step, that's fine. I say usually when you're somewhere around 50% kibble, 50% raw, to go ahead and add these very same ingredients. If you guys know about the barf diet, there's a certain percentage that you got to have of meat and bone, certain percentage of vegetables, and certain percentage of fruit. Now, included in that is a certain percentage of offal or organ meat. Now, we don't feed our dogs beef liver or chicken liver. Now, we all know that the vitamins are stored in the liver. Rather than going that route, instead we feed NuVet, which is a multivitamin, and NuJoint DS double strength, which is joint support. If you're interested in using the same supplements that we use, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link right here with our ordering code. And just so you know, if you do auto renewal, you get an additional 13% off every time they ship. Also, if you have a female that's coming in heat, now would be the appropriate time to use something like Oxymate or a supplement like it. One thing we've been using with a lot of success recently is papaya enzymes. It's completely natural. And even though it says the after meal supplement, we're actually giving it together with the food, and the enzymes are available to help the dogs break down and consume the majority of the food that they're taking in, along with the NuVet and NuJoint DS. So you're gonna notice now we're gonna increment the amount of raw that they're gonna be getting, we're gonna reduce the amount of kibble, and we also got some cooked food. So without further ado, let's get these dogs fed. Ali ain't no fool, she goes straight for the chicken, and Patron just took it out of her mouth. Y'all getting excited? This is what the babies are about to get. We're gonna add a little kibble to it. Now we're gonna mix it. Yeah, we're ready to go. Right now we're at a 50-50 mix. Tomorrow it's probably gonna be more like a 70-30, 80-20 mix. Today we got a lot more chicken. Obviously, we got our vegetables. We're also gonna be dealing with garlic. Yes, garlic. Guys, I already know Google's gonna tell you garlic is toxic for dogs. All I'm gonna say is do your research. Don't just go off of that. You must do your research because it turns out that they actually fed dogs 13 garlic cloves. If a dog's not going to become toxic after that, I don't know what will. But my point isn't to get you all riled up over garlic. It's just to let you know that at this stage, we're going to start deworming. Whether you're using garlic or something like parental palmiate suspension. As far as garlic is concerned, we feed 1 clove per 100 pounds of dog. We either chop it up or crush it and let it sit for 15 minutes so it can react with the air and is not toxic for dogs. As far as parental palmiate suspension, we're gonna go ahead and give it for 3 days straight. Then we're gonna wait 3 weeks, and then we're gonna give it for 3 days straight again. The reason we wait 3 weeks is because parasites will lay eggs, and what we're gonna be killing for the first 3 days is gonna be the adults. In 21 days, those eggs are gonna hatch. We're gonna hit them for 3 more days and wipe them out. Today, we're gonna be feeding 80% raw and only 20% kibble. Again, for those of you doing it for the first time, if you want to go at a slower rate, that's absolutely fine. Guys, if you want to get information on everything dogs, from feeding, exercise, how to pick puppies, make sure to follow us on our social media accounts as we give behind the scene looks to raw feeding and to everything else that has to do with dogs. Don't forget to get that NuVet if you're interested. Just in case, we left the link down below in descriptions. Now, have you seen how we've been able to transition dogs from kibble to raw? I know some of you may have dogs that are allergic to chicken. We got a solution for you as well. So make sure to click on this video right here. We actually made a recipe for dogs that are allergic to chicken.